Hello, YouTube streets. This is Simply Me. I want to come to you once again for another little small series of negativity. This time, I want to talk about negativity and how it ends up slowly merging into our relationships. Some relationships we find insignificant, but for the most part, when you befriend or have emotions for someone, friendships end up turning into close relationships. Um, Tends to be a lot of feelings and emotions in that particular relationship. And it's very important to kind of recognize us as women. Again, we're still talking about empowerment. Um, in spite of everything that's going on right now in YouTube, it's very important that we still focus on the subject at hand, and that's just recognizing the different layers that's surrounding today's behavior, especially within the realm of women in general. And relationships is what I want to talk about, and it's just so funny how everything just popped off um, on platforms today. And if you are a regular watcher of YouTube, then you know what I'm talking about. I am a new YouTuber, but I don't want to take that route and jump in and have an opinion either way. I just want to go ahead and focus really quick on relationships and friendships and the negativity and how things stem. But let's start with the back up a little bit, because with the last series in part three, I pretty much left off talking about how we are affected by certain things in our lives as we're starting to grow, become aware of our bodies, us as women, us having cycles, how that again creates a level of anger that affects our behavior. So now we're just going to slowly move into friendships and relationships, because a lot of times we base our relationship on certain things, and a lot of times it's for whatever it is that we feel like that we can benefit from. Let's just keep it 100. We just don't meet no everyday friend to see just by chance, just to be a friend, just to be a friend. We have to have something in common. There has to be something that gels between two people. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with the same sex or the opposite sex. Everything works when it's in a relationship. Certain things has to gel. Otherwise, the connection is going to be awkward. So when we talk about the different things as our bodies are becoming aware on the inside, we begin to develop on the inside and on the outside. Okay, so we have this pattern of emotions that's going on the inside of us. So we do match up with individuals that can relate a lot of the times, or something about the way a person makes you feel. So a lot of times when you tend to focus on how people make you feel, it's almost like you start to move everything aside and focus on what, let's just say a guy. We start to focus on the things that guy likes about us. So it's like when we kind of, okay, now I see what my interest is. I see that he's got my attention. It kind of make us a little naive, because we kind of block out all the things that really matter, and that's really getting to know someone that we've have no clue who we're about to deal with. And at the same time, by us being a little naive, we kind of lack awareness. We're not really aware of that person's intentions, because most women, when you are lacking something in your life, you are looking for something to fulfill it. Most of the time, we don't look to work it out. We just look at it as let's chalk it up and keep it moving. But we don't understand some of the things that are happening to us on the inside. So we tend to not dwell on it. We don't research it. We don't try to seek any answers for it. It's just a feeling. It's just something that happened. I'm going to move it aside and I'm going to keep on going. But yet and still, when you have when you have different repeated cycles of negativity, repeated cycles of anger, we tend to lose a part of us because we are lashing out. We're reacting to how things make us feel in a negative way. So we're slowly getting rid of the things that matter the most. We're pushing them aside. So we're having a void that we are emptying ourselves. It's almost like a glass. We're full, but then we're slowly losing that fluid. Or it's we already empty as it is. So just depending on where you are at certain levels in life. So when we lose something, we always try to replace it with something else. So right now we are just coming into new friendships and relationships unaware. We don't really know what's going on with us. So we really kind of blind by what we see. We tend to be more easygoing and we tend to believe what we see that's in front of us. That may be absolutely false. That may be a wolf in sheep's clothing. We could see a whole lot of different things that our imagination wants us to see because we're trying to just fill a void, We're trying to belong. We love to belong. We love to feel. And it's very hard to get those feelings. It's much harder to feel good feelings than it is to feel bad ones. It seems like bad ones, those bad feelings come and go all day. But it's very seldom that you run into happy feelings and positive relationships. So when you run into that particular one relationship or that true friend, you want to try to hang on to it. So you gravitate to it because it fits. And our mind is not mentally prepared to entertain a new friendship, especially if we got a lot of issues, because that person don't know what's hidden underneath you, and they don't know how it's going to trigger when they say something incorrect, something that they don't realize that they're saying, and they just come out wrong with it. Next thing you know, we're biting their head off. So my thing is, I think that women, we don't allow time to find an interest in someone because we're so busy trying to fill that empty space. And when we try to fill that empty space, that relationship eventually will become toxic if we continue to act on that embedded negativity and anger. So negativity and anger will spill over into this so-called beautiful relationship, but we will always find a reason to blame the other person because of a situation that went south when we didn't give it time to develop in the first place. We was just so busy concerning ourselves with how to feel something that we have slowly been losing from within ourselves the whole time. And I think that when you're blinded by certain things, it's really truly not the relationship itself. It's something that's within inside of that individual that will corrupt that relationship. And it's because we have a lack of insight. So having a lack of insight is definitely a part of being negative, and also a part of reacting irrationally. So just imagine the relationship now is giving you everything you need. It's telling you that you're beautiful. It's telling you that you smell good. It's telling you that your hair is beautiful. It's telling you all the things that you want to hear. So it's supplementing all the negativity that you have probably experienced over the years. So it feels good. So I'm saying this to say that when we take on a loving role in a relationship, we are filled with the flesh. Our flesh is now being satisfied, but we are also mentally and emotionally distracted. So that's why a lot of times we end up making the wrong decisions. And when that relationship somehow comes to an end, or if that relationship continues to go forward, then people tend to tolerate one another. They tolerate the attitude. They tolerate the negativity, and then some people are like, you're too negative. I can't deal in this relationship. So women, think about that. Think about how we as individuals, when we get into a relationship or find someone that is satisfying us emotionally and psychologically, what are we really losing sight of about ourselves? Because we seem to think we fix it when actually we just cover it up. Those things still aren't fixed because we're still negative, and we hide them, and eventually they do come out. And a lot of times when they come out, it comes out because you're reacting to old things that you've experienced because you never dealt with them. So think about that. Think about all of your most close relationships. Think about those things that went left. Think about what action did we play a part in that could have been different if we had to just sit back and addressed ourselves, and we had looked at ourselves from a different perspective to ask ourselves, was it my negative reaction? Was it the anger buildup? What was it about me that I could have done differently that would have made this particular situation more bearable for the next person? And I'm not saying that the other person isn't responsible too, because everybody make mistakes, but at the same time, because this is about the woman, everything starts from the woman. So if it's about recognizing a situation that may not be your fault, but what part did you take in? Did you take in that part about not saying nothing because you really care for that person? Did you take part in it by making things appear to be one way when they're another? Or are we hiding our feelings because we don't want to face the fact that we have problems on the inside of us that we've never faced? So there are different things that you have to think about, but we're going to go into that a little bit deeper later on. I don't want to talk too much. I'm about to go to the gym because at one time I was feeling a way about this big piece of meat that's sitting over here on this thigh. But hey, I'm working it out. So anyway, we're going to talk more about relationships. I'm going to stick to this for a minute. So please like, subscribe, comment below, and let me know how you feel about this, because I'm going to come back around and we're going to get more into this relationship and how we bring our negative aspects in our perspective. Even when we don't even see that we bring in negativity into a relationship. No, regardless of how you're treating it at the time, we just have a lot of luggage that's packed on the inside of us that we refuse to recognize. So let's just think about that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to continue this relationship and how it evolves in everything else we're doing. So thank you. All right, YouTube, be cool. Talk to you soon.